Howdy, howdy.
Why, hello.
And welcome to But It Was Aliens, the paranormal comedy podcast where we probe real-life extraterrestrial events to determine for the questionable benefit of humanity whether those events really did involve aliens at all. I'm today's host, Kev, and alongside me, calling me pretty much everything but my name, is Granville Moonwalker.
Hey, buttface.
Today, we are covering another listener suggestion. Well, sort of. This one came firstly via Kieran Desmond, who sort of just dropped this story in our Facebook group, Extraterrestrial Towers, which is linked to the But It Was Aliens Facebook page, by the way, and is a secret group that everybody should know about. All friendly faces welcome. Anyway, when you drop a case in there, if we haven't covered it, you damn right we're going to look at it and see if it's worth probing. This one was. Then, friend of the show, John, also suggested this one a few months ago to me.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. I'm just going to show you what our subject today looks like before we get into it, Mr. Moonwalker. Meet Russ Kellett.
Before we meet Russ Kellett,
Yes?
is this the John that we both know that also said I'm the prettiest girl he's ever seen and would rather marry me than his Beyonce? I see you, son.
Now, meet Russ Kellett.
What up, Russ?
Born in Bradford and residing in Filey, North Yorkshire, who describes himself as a no-nonsense, hard-working, tell-you-like-it-is type of guy.
He looks like a hard-working, no-nonsense, tell-it-like-it-is type of guy, doesn't he?
Absolutely, with his Dude Love t-shirt.
I was about to say he's got a tie-dye t-shirt on. Looks like a ripped denim vest or waistcoat.
The man has got style for a while, folks.
Bald head. Big chubby knuckle fingers, like a typical football hooligan.
He's got a dash and a fashion, son.
Dash and a fashion. Oh, hello, Russ.
You know immediately that you can trust this man.
Now you're making me doubt him.
Why? He's no nonsense.
You just said you can immediately trust this guy.
He's hard-working and he tells you like it is. How could you not trust?
Coming from you.
It's not coming from me, it's coming from him. Where to begin with this one? There's no easy way to explain this case, so I'm just going to have to ask you to hang in tight until we get to the end. As a youngster, Russ had always dreamed about being a person with powers like teleportation, like you used to see on television. But today's case really begun when Russ was at his grandparents' one year looking for Christmas presents. We've all done it, haven't we?
Who has?
Whilst looking upstairs, Russ found a space gun.
Did he pull the trigger and it vibrated?
The gun was covered in flashing lights and was just what a space soldier would need to fight off the alien hordes. He's waving it around his grandparents. Granddad's never seen it before in his life. He thinks it's Russ's.
I found a space sword.
Lightsaber jewels with it. Hits Nan with it, she really likes it. Russ was being extremely quiet, so he noticed a sound coming from the bottom of the stairs. Russ didn't want to get caught, so headed towards the bedroom door, looking out the window as he did. Out of the window, Russ was greeted by the sight of a spaceman going into the backyard. A man wearing a grey or silver suit, standing in front of a saucer. The figure saw Russ and waved, so Russ waved back. Suddenly, Russ's grandmama called up to Russ, and with a jolt, the saucer disappeared.
Ooh. So Are we saying that this silver-suited space Lothario dropped his space gun?
Why are you calling it a
Or a space
Lothario?
wand?
This is a highly dangerous space sword.
Did he hop out the window to avoid Grandad?
He may have. You've got to assume if the space gun was in there, the creature has gone in there to put it there, or was in there and left it there.
That's if it's his. Could always be Grandma's. Different settings.
Just say you hit the pneumatic drill setting. Russ's dad is bouncing up and down like she's on a pogo stick. Several thousand rotations per second.
Just call me Granny Dildo. Granny Dildo.
Russ had another encounter with Granny Dildo as a slightly older child. Russ went to his den one day. You know what I mean by den. We all had them. Little areas in local parks or woods where you used to go to hang out with your friends thinking that nobody else in the world had ever been there or knew about it.
Wish I had a den.
There'd be good climbing trees, tree stumps to sit on, cover so passers-by couldn't see you, and if you are of a certain age, these dens would have been full of ripped pages from adult magazines. Somebody had clearly been in the den jacking it at some point, but in your mind, nobody had been in the den before, and you never questioned how those magazines got there. Russ was in his den, and suddenly, he wasn't. Russ was in what looked like a dentist's chair, surrounded by figures. One pricked the right side of Russ's neck, and the next thing Russ knew, he was having things shoved in his ears, eyes, nose, mouth, and through his body. Russ states that he was injected in his legs, arms, and body too. Russ was asking questions like, "Who are you?" But the figures weren't responding. Suddenly, Russ was back in the den with a headache. Russ headed home, whereby Russ found that he couldn't account for about 2 hours and had missed wrestling on the television. God damn it! Russ's mum gave him a bollocking.
How old was Russ at this time?
A slightly older child than he was at the point of the first.
I mean, that doesn't tell us anything. Like,
so he was.
I mean, he
den
clearly
age.
got slabbed, but
At a guess between 8 and 13.
okay. Now, going back to the adult magazines.
Yes.
I mean, it's not brought up very much now, but what a weird time that people would walk into the woods and jack it to a magazine. Like, and it would have to be in daylight, because how else are you going to see the pages?
Like, pre-2000s must have been wild for people.
And you would... you know, in small villages around here, you would
Yes.
see old phone booths are used
Yep.
as...
People
like-
would stick advertisements on them. For,
No, not even that.
Right.
Nowadays, you find they're full of books. So you can go in, you can take
yeah,
a book and replace it with, or put another book in.
Yeah.
So people can
Book
enjoy
swap
the
shops,
wonder of books and reading. Mm-hmm. Do you think this was the Woods version of porn magazines?
People would go in there knowing where they were from like local chat in the pub, stick in the page they thought was really good and take one they hadn't seen before.
Depending on what part of the woods you were in, depends on what category of porn you get.
The Mibs have just messaged you to tell
That's
you
not me.
stop sharing. That is you, because it's not me. My Mac has been on silent since the day I bought it, sir.
But there's no...
The Mibs don't care.
Normally that's an email. Nothing has appeared.
It's appeared in the background of your life.
The Mibs are... They're annoyed I'm spilling the secrets of the...
Of the secret porn
wood
dens.
porn.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Every magazine available is Hairy Mary Monthly.
Let's get off porn a minute. All right.
How dare you? Don't you know what our show is?
Have you ever arrived
in a
late at
den.
home and got a bollocking from your mum? I was about to say, not you. You were a good boy.
So, I was a crafty boy. My parents, when I'd ask what time I had to be home, would say, "What time do your friends have to be home?"
You would always say about an hour or so.
2 hours,
later.
son. That seems late. You sure? Yeah, call them up and ask them. All right. Off you go. Boom. And I'd usually come home about an hour before I'd said, because no one else was obviously allowed out that late, but... Don't tell Mum and Dad, Kerry.
I think when I moved into my grandparents, I had a time I had to be back by. So it was roughly 9:30-ish, which standard kind of time for us.
That
really,
ties in,
wasn't
because
it?
I would say I had to be in at like 11, so...
And then as...
I'm a 6-year-old going down the street at 10:45
I was going to say, as it got
with my
to
Capri
like
Sun in my mouth.
15 plus, it was just, what are you doing? I'm just going to be at Kev's.
Yeah.
And then it's like, just turn up whenever. And then at 16, when I moved back home, it was just free for all. What? Come back in at 2 o'clock? Leave the house at 2 o'clock? Take trips to walk people home?
Boundaries. When Russ was 16, Russ went to see
Sweet 16.
if a friend was about, but they were already out. So Russ decided to just go back home on his scooter
Oh, the days.
before telephones.
I know. So some of you are a lot fucking younger than we are.
Than you are.
He says that he's older than I am.
We know that's a lie.
But we didn't grow up with mobile phones. If we wanted to know if anyone was out, we had to walk to their house and knock on their door. And sometimes that could be a 45-minute trip. Just to get back home and find out that you missed them by 5 minutes.
But you got fresh air, folks.
That is true. A lot of walking, a lot of running, or cycling.
Skating for you.
Yeah.
I used to skate all the time as a
Everywhere.
teenager.
Or my BMX.
Or your sister's
Or my
bike.
sister's bike, yep.
Russ would follow the same route that Russ always took. Suddenly, Russ realised that he was in a tunnel that he'd never seen before. Russ was stunned.
Butt tunnel.
As I said, Russ had followed his usual route that he took all the time, yet here he was in a tunnel. Then even more suddenly, Russ was in what appeared to be a dentist surgery.
Got slabbed
Again, in that reclining chair.
Do you reckon he just had moments where he blacked out?
And then woke up in a dentist chair, yeah. That's what's happened. 3 times.
Right.
Free time. Free time. Free time.
Like walking one way and then all of a sudden you're somewhere else. That's happened to me before.
Are you about to share another paranormal
It
experience?
really wasn't a paranormal one. I was just kind of lost in my own little world. And I realised I'd walked too far one direction. I was like, where the fuck am I? And I had to turn around and walk back.
Where were you? Walking home or something?
Yeah. So, I mean, walking home from yours, there's probably about 20 different bloody ways I could have got home. But there's one that was always shorter and I'd always take that. Mm-hmm. But then one day, like, I don't know if in my brain I thought I was going somewhere else. And then I kind of looked up and I was heading totally towards somewhere else. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Added
so
like another
dumb.
10 minutes to
I
my
reckon you got
trip.
picked up and dropped back in a different place and you just didn't realise. You've got so many locked away memories we could uncover if we do a bit of Dr. Fart Sprinkle on you.
We're not fart sprinkling me.
So why do you think Russ may be in a reclining chair? Why specifically a reclining chair?
Maybe it's a fear. Maybe it's where he goes when he's scared. Maybe it's a
why do
comfort
the
place.
aliens take him to a reclining chair?
Maybe because they know he's scared.
How is that
Maybe
gonna be
that's his
better?
comfort place.
How?
What if they want him scared? We don't know.
Good
what they're
call.
like.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. They used to scare kids to get their power.
Real
So-
monsters. Just wanted to say real monsters because I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed that as a kid.
Great show.
In the chair, Russ was approached
Big chair.
by a figure who was about 15 foot in height.
Ah, damn.
Big figure. This is like two Andre the Giants. Russ described the figure as looking like Dracula but bald and without the fangs. So nothing like Dracula. What? Russ quickly realised that it wasn't just the one Dracula, there were many surrounding Russ. The Draculas were wearing blue one-piece suits.
Let's call them
So
non-Draculas.
basically onesies covered by white aprons. Why would they need aprons? The large non-Draculas restrained Russ as one shoved some kind of pipe straight down Russ's throat. The creature began pumping Russ full of liquid. Russ awoke covered in a liquid and realised that to completely cover him, Russ must have been raised above the ground. There was a strange smell too. Russ would soon realise that this event was not cruel alien experimentation, but had a definitive purpose. The liquid pumped into Russ, you see, turned our hero into a super soldier. What do you need a soldier for, Granville?
Wah! It didn't dawn on me, even by the fact that you said they were in blue kind of onesies with white aprons,
Yep,
until you said they shoved a pipe down his throat.
yep. They piped him.
Could he have been in hospital as a youngster and this is his brain's, not his brain's way, but this is the way his brain formed what was happening to him?
You don't generally get Draculas in hospital.
No, but they're not Draculas. They're non-Draculas.
You don't tend to get non-Draculas in hospital either, who are 15 feet tall.
Maybe he just perceives them as 15 feet tall because he may have been on some form of drug.
Maybe you need to open your mind.
My mind is being opened right now to the possibility of him being in hospital under some
Alien hospital.
drugs.
Being covered in superpower liquid. That absolutely...
Was he shaved in hospital?
But you saw he had a bald head, right?
That could have been hereditary.
Male patented.
So he's in hospital.
Mm-hmm.
There, you agreed.
Well,
Don't
he's
say alien
in
hospital.
a medical facility is how I would describe it.
Did he read comic books at this time? It's sounding rather Captain American-y. That's really not, but super soldiers took me there.
Well, yeah, that's not... It's in a lot
Or
of...
Wolverine-y.
I was going to say it's in a lot of popular media stories, isn't it? Movies,
Wolverine-y.
comics. Wolverine. Wolverine's little brother. Never had that growth spurt.
Wow.
Russ had been placed in a helmet, and as he opened his eyes, Russ realised that he was in an arena with hundreds of other people.
Thor!
I was going for Running Man. Russ and the others were given instructions as if they were soldiers in the army. It was extraterrestrial military school. Russ engaged in all types of weapons and formation training before the helmet was taking off Russ's head. Suddenly, Russ was back in that dentist chair.
You said running man?
Yep, Arnie?
Is that the one with the free-boobed woman?
No, that's Total Recall.
That's what I was thinking of.
Is that the only reason? You just want to remember where you saw three titties?
No, it wasn't. You said Running Man, and then it was like different weapons and stuff. And I just thought, ooh, what if he's on the planet like Total Recall? And then I was like, he's in hospital.
Wow.
He's seen loads of movies, he's on drugs, and these are what his mind is perceiving.
Open.
Going through his consciousness.
To a whole new world of possibilities.
I mean, this is, how old is Russ?
You could bend spoons.
When was Russ born?
A while ago.
Is this the era Rabani? When we had like Predator, Total Recall, Running Man.
Well, I suppose that was before our time, and Russ is a bit older than us.
Red
so.
Sonja, Conan, the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, Hercules, Twins.
All right.
Just naming Arnie films. Terminator, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
I'm just going to continue. The pipe.
Get to the chopper!
The pipe was removed from Russ's throat. Russ realised that in the dentist's surgery room, there was also hundreds of people. One of the people in Russ's unit just happened to be UK star Robbie Williams, formerly of boy band Take That, which explains Robbie's extraterrestrial interests. Robbie was later asked about this and said, "No comment." People were given instructions by both a speaker system and several tall Draculas in the room with them. The, let's call them what they are, soldiers, were ordered to drink from pipes coming from the walls.
Right. How old was Russ at this point? And was Take That a thing at this point?
No, this is in his earlier days, I believe.
So, if this was before Take That, how did he know it was Robbie Williams?
He knows now that it was Robbie Williams.
How did he know now that it was Robbie Williams?
Robbie Williams has looked the same since he was 3 years old.
We're going to have to investigate Robbie Williams, aren't we?
To be fair, he's popped up in a couple of episodes.
Yes.
He's popped up in a case that I can't remember if I've covered.
I mean, I covered
yet,
one.
but he's popped up in a couple, yeah.
I reckon.
Oh gosh, with that child prodigy on your one. Is it Jason or
Jason? I reckon we could probably get Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams to appear on the show.
I reckon we'd probably get sued before that's going to happen for defamation of character.
I mean, we're not defamating his character at all.
Well, not his, but we have several others.
Yeah, that's probably
We
true.
haven't concluded on Russ yet either.
I could possibly say that Robbie Williams' experiences are extraterrestrial if he is sat in front of me and talking to me about them and seems quite sincere and is not talking bullshit and answers my questions sincerely and honestly.
I'm telling you about a sincere account right now, and you're
not his.
You're not opening your mind.
Not his. I'm opening my mind and questioning
Open your
it.
mind. Question. Would
Answer.
you drink from the pipe coming from the wall?
No. Not drinking from any pipe coming from a hole in the wall. Are you?
Would it give me superpowers?
What if it gave you perceived superpowers?
Would I be able to be super with those perceived superpowers?
You
Like,
could.
would they work? Who's perceiving them?
I could tell you are.
The liquid from the pipes had what Russ described as a pleasant taste, like citrus. Russ swallowed. Suddenly, Russ felt like he needed to board the chunder wagon. The instructions soon followed to let the vomit happen. Everyone in the room started chundering their guts up. The whole room was at it. At that point, the room filled with a smelly mist, and next thing you know, Russ was under a human-sized hairdryer.
Sorry to interject, but you know for a fact that everyone kept chundering because everyone was seeing everyone else chunder.
It's like dominoes. After this, the soldiers were given a suit, their own onesie. The suit self-fastened, and after Russ turned a dial on it, the suit toughened up almost like an exoskeleton. Next, the soldiers were given weapons. The weapons were sound rifles, which worked by plugging a battery pack in. If you fired without your helmet on, you'd burst your eardrums. Shortly after, Russ was in a battle simulation firing his weapon at lizard-like aliens. After this,
Clitorians.
Russ was ready to go to war, and from this point forward, Russ would regularly be taken by his alien commanders to fight. Super soldier son. He knows how to handle a space sword and a sound gun.
His story is wild.
Yeah, it's going to continue a little bit longer.
So, all these other soldiers that are there,
Yeah, Robbie.
I mean,
Yep.
we know Robbie Williams is one.
Yeah.
But are they all human?
Yeah. They're all human.
Humans are being abducted to fight wars on behalf of other planets.
You're
or
basically nail on the head,
species.
yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get into that momentarily.
I was going to say, what do they call it in...
War?
No, so they choose a champion. That's it, in Game of Thrones.
Well,
So they are choosing a species as
their
champion to fight for them.
Yeah, I
So-
can't really argue with that.
So do you think that's because this alien species is weak?
Or incredibly smart and selfish. And they
Yeah.
don't want to harm themselves.
They're like, well, we're not going to like go out there and fight.
Let's
Get
go
these
send...
pricks to do it. Like, let's hype them up on drugs, get them like rage filled, and send them out to fight.
There's actually no superpowers given by the liquid that's poured on them. It's just that they
Or
have
it's to
weaker
keep them-
gravity on their planet, and they're actually just pissing on people for a laugh as part of the fun. And they send them out to fight. They're thinking they're superpowered when actually they can just jump higher and whatnot. Lesser gravity on that planet. They're covered in piss.
I was about to say maybe it's to keep them subservient so they don't turn on them.
Hypnotic piss.
Yeah.
Russ has been supporting the non-Draculas for about 30 years in their war against the Dragos. Dragos are not Soviet boxers, but are in fact 10-foot tall, scaly lizard-like creatures with heads like mythological dragons. Russ explained that 4 hours on Earth is 4 years on one of the planets Russ has
answers one of
been
my
to.
questions.
Russ has interests including motorbikes, drawing, painting, sword making, shooting targets, ancient mysteries, and the paranormal. You may have picked up that I mentioned painting there.
Yes, I did.
Your eyes may have lit up. We have a Drago for you here to gaze upon, Granville, as well as one of the tall Draculas, non-Draculas, and another species Russ has come across.
Now, before I gaze upon
Russ's-
these magical
Yep.
pieces of artwork, is there some way you can buy these?
I can't recall, actually. I don't recall there being a shop, but
Because we know full well there is one piece of art that definitely is still waiting to go up in this room.
yes, it's between our legs right now.
If we can add more artwork to the walls, this would be incredible. So I'm now going to take a look. Oh, brilliant. So, Grey Nuts here has put in a picture of Ivan Drago. I must break you.
If he dies, he
He dies. Okay. We have Russ sitting here
And let me remind you that Russ is a super soldier.
holding up a picture of one of the Dragos.
Russ is ready to battle at a moment's notice.
And I'm going to say it right here, right now. This looks like a child's sketch of Reptile from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it does, yeah. It's a Drago.
I mean,
10-foot tall lizard. I mean, Reptile is probably a 6-foot tall lizard.
yeah, it literally just imagine Reptile's head from Mortal Kombat 2. Straight on with a really skinny looking body compared to the size of the neck. Look at the size of the neck compared to the body. That's huge.
That's a thick neck.
That's thick. With
No
two
wonder
C's.
they need super soldiers to fight them.
You ain't snapping that neck easily. You could probably snap the arms. Look at his flat titties and six pack. There's a lot of emphasis on the face with the Drago.
Okay, and if you'd like
Okay.
to see the other species.
Right.
I don't even know how to
I don't know how to
Imagine-
describe it.
Imhotep from The Mummy,
Yes.
the Brendan Fraser
yes.
mummy.
That
It's basically Imhotep.
kid's Imhotep.
There's nothing else that Imhotep with lip liner,
He drew Imhotep in 1989.
inspired Brendan Fraser's The Mummy.
Oh, amazing. And the other picture
That's so
Looks-
much like The Mummy, isn't it? It
Yeah.
really is.
is a Minotaur.
Yep.
Is it a Minotaur though? I mean, we can't see the legs at the back. Imagine a human-sized person with the head of a bull, and beside him is a child. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that is a pretty accurate picture of a kid holding an AK-47.
Yeah. It's not a bad drawing,
Like,
is it?
it's really not.
I
like,
mean, he is a super soldier. You should expect some talent.
all the other drawings just look like little kiddie drawings, but this one looks like an accurate representation of holding a rifle.
I can't
It's
stop
been
looking
awe.
at Imhotep with lip liner.
Don't gaze into his eyes too long.
I've done it. I'm
You'll
hypnotized.
lose your soul. So is Imhotep meant to be one of the Draculas?
The non-Draculas,
The
yeah.
non-Draculas.
Imhotep is a non-Dracula. I've come to suck your soul.
Imhotep.
Russ has explained that there are many different races of aliens, but that because there are so many, Russ struggles to remember them all. Russ believes that one of the more nefarious races may have wiped his memory at some point, meaning that there may be even more memories locked away deep within Russ. Who knows what Russ has been through?
How did they manage that while he was under control of the non-Draculas?
Oh, he could
Is
have...
he a double agent?
No, not necessarily. He could have been in war,
How do
got
we know
knocked
he's not a
out,
double
picked up
agent?
by the others and messed with,
Yeah. So how do we know he's not a
but
double
then
agent?
recovered.
How do we know they're not using him for their nefarious needs?
Well, maybe they are.
Maybe that's why he was stood there next to the Minotaurians, whatever they are.
Well, as I said, the Minotaurians. Who knows what Russ has been through? Well, I do. In total, Russ has been abducted more than 60 times.
God damn.
This means that Russ is up there with David Huggins as one of our most prolific abductees.
Another painter.
Maybe every time you get abducted, you get a bit better at drawing and painting.
That is possible. So he's not even close to Huggins then, is he? Totally different art styles there.
If Huggins has got more than 100 alien children, he must have... I'm assuming he doesn't hit success every time he bangs one. So he's got to be probably at least double the abduction time.
I mean, with that logic, are we saying that if you're good at art, you've been abducted?
Yes. That's exactly what we're saying.
No wonder you're shit.
What are you like at art, Mr Moonwalker?
You've been left behind.
And what are you like at art, Mr Moonwalker?
I'm okay.
Are you? What would you say would be one of your strongest subjects in school, Mr Moonwalker?
Dance.
Did you choose dance?
No.
You can't pick a subject you didn't take. Did you choose art?
It's a history.
Did you choose art?
History.
Did you choose art?
Art chose me.
Every time Russ was taken, he would first arrive in a room like a giant chessboard. It was covered in
That's
squares.
a lie.
No, it isn't, because he was in the dentist chair in the dentist. I never said what patterns were on the floor or walls.
Well, fair enough.
It
Touche.
was checkered, if you will, good sir. In the centre of this room was a glass ball that can transport someone through time and space across
Time
galaxies.
and space.
Russ states that he could be teleported anywhere in the known and unknown universe.
So it could be teleported anywhere.
Indeed. Anywhere in the known and unknown universe. Russ would be transported to fight in battle after battle in Star Wars. With all of this, you may be wondering, why Russ?
I mean, at one point he was probably had the most potential of any human on the planet, or a group of humans on the planet.
I'll stand by that too.
Potential must have been high.
Indeed.
Same as Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams was able to channel that potential when he came back and made it into a pop star.
And Russ.
Maybe Russ is still fighting the good fight.
Russ is still active. He was a better super soldier. He hasn't got time for anything else.
He was kept.
This man is a veteran.
Williams was discarded.
So why Russ? Russ was once challenged with exactly that question. Why Russ? By Patrick Christie's on GB News with Patrick, wondering why the aliens weren't tanking Prime Arnold Schwarzenegger
Because Prime
instead.
Arnie would fuck them up.
Russ explained that some of the deadliest members of the SAS are 5 foot tall. To paraphrase, Russ was saying that adept military warriors come in all shapes and sizes, but big muscle-bound action heroes may crack under the pressures of war.
Bullshit.
For years before remembering all this, Russ had been so tired in his day job, and he just didn't know why. One day, Russ went to meet someone at a local pub, but the person didn't show. Russ left on his hog, and at a level crossing on the way home, it was almost as if Russ was zapped with a ray of light and his memories came flooding back to him. Now Russ knows that he has been fighting wars in the UK and Europe, in South America, but also territorial battles in space and on other planets. Every time Russ was abducted, it was to fight the good fight. Russ has been shot and has been in explosions during these space wars, but he's a tough bastard. Sadly, through Russ's adventures, Russ has developed chronic fatigue syndrome and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Russ struggles with his memory and has been rushed to hospital on occasion with ill health and memory difficulties. Russ is also dyslexic, though I'm not sure that one is connected to the aliens. Russ believes that the illnesses are the result of the space and time travel Russ has engaged in, and sadly, due to this, all the super soldiers are now left without their abilities.
Except Robbie Williams.
Who has the ability of song.
I was going to say, is it quite possible that he suffered with like ME or something like that when you said that he was getting tired at work but had no idea why? I was thinking that sounds like ME or something like that. And here we are, chronic fatigue syndrome.
After living a life in the alien military.
Or just getting chronic fatigue syndrome.
Well, that doesn't explain how he was trained in the alien army, does it? If you'd open your mind.
Has he demonstrated this warlike ability to anybody?
Well, he can't, because now he's all effed up and has lost the abilities.
Before he,
like all the soldiers. I mean, that's proof if you think about it.
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
He's displaying exactly what he's explained.
Give me a gun and I will show you how to dismantle and put it back together.
He uses alien weaponry. He doesn't use terrestrial technology.
Did he go through any of the like
If you gave this man an alien gun,
training,
he would show you.
and show them what he could do. Did he disarm any army personnel?
Why would he need to do that? He fights on a higher plane.
Then that shouldn't be a problem for him. Or is he too good for that?
He's too good for that, obviously.
His discipline is to be better than that.
I'm glad you're coming on board at last.
So, the person that didn't show up at the pub, was it a friend? Was it a colleague?
I think it was a friend, yeah. Not a huge amount of detail on that section.
Okay.
All this sounded bonkers, albeit standard for a Daily Star article, so I googled Russ to fill out the episode, and it turns out Russ has been around in the news and on podcasts for several years. Russ is also the author of a book available on Amazon called E.T. Rider. The synopsis explains that the book is about a man who has had countless extraterrestrial encounters. A man who was taken by an alien race and put into a military unit where that man was trained to become a super soldier. That man is, of course, Russ, aka E.T. Rider.
This isn't a book. This is a biography.
The book lists Russ as one of the UK's leading extraterrestrial investigators, but this is the first time I believe he's popped up in our own probes.
I love the fact that the book
It was written by him.
Yeah. Not anyone else.
Impartial view.
Just the book.
Yeah, I've shown you a little photo of the front and back cover of said book, Mr Moonwalker. I'll try and post these on our social channels, i.e. Instagram at But It Was Aliens Podcast and the others.
I love the fact that the book reads Russ Kellett. Russ Kellett, UFO researcher, biker, and abductee. I also point out that he's a biker.
I like the front. Russell Kellett is E.T. Rider. Do you think the trailer man who does all those trailers speaks like that in his daily life?
No.
Hello,
I reckon
wife.
his voice is so different that you never know who it is.
I am thankful for dinner.
I also love the fact that the lightning seems to hit a point and then just goes round in a border. Like from the alien craft to him, like it can't touch him.
Well, he is E.T. Rider. Definitely not ripping off Ghost Rider there. Russ describes his childhood in the books as quite happy, surrounded by his family, though he does also outline being bullied all his life. I'm going to read a quote word for word from Chapter 2, Early Memories, just so you can get a feel for this. Like all stories, mine starts at the beginning, at the start, and that is when I was born in my birthplace, Bradford, West Yorkshire.
So I'm just going to explain. It's not only the voice, but it dawned on me that you said you were going to read this word for word.
Yeah. And I
My
did.
story starts at the beginning, at the start.
Yeah. Sadly, those types of sentences are throughout sections of the book, shall we say. I'm not going to waste time today coming up with alternative theories. It's just a case of whether Russ is legitimately E.T. Rider or whether he's got a genuine interest in UFOs and is trying to keep them relevant whilst making a little moolah.
Born in my birthplace. I'm going to start at the beginning of the start of the race, which was at the beginning, at the front.
At the start where it began. E.T. Rider.
Yeah, so E.T. Rider. I know, obviously, extraterrestrial, but do you think Easy Rider was also a bit of an influence here?
Possibly, yeah.
And he's a biker. That was a huge biker film back at the day. And he was like, Maybe he just loves, like aliens and alien stories and just wanted to write his own.
Well, we did say that he loves the paranormal.
And just decided to put himself in it and try and make out like it was real.
As we said, and as I just said, we said earlier on that he likes the paranormal and motorbikes. Make of that what you will.
Indeed.
Before we finish, I'm just going to let Russ speak to you, dear listeners, and Mr Moonwalker, in his own words.
Ooh. Russ Kellett, E.T. Rider.
My role as a super soldier, basically, is to do as I'm told, and that is to find the enemy and destroy it. Hi, my name's Russ Kellett. I've been abducted by aliens at least 60 times.
His artwork's got better.
I saw an alien when I was about 4 years old, looking out of the bedroom window into the back garden, and I saw what looked like a space map. On average, I would say that I've been abducted maybe 5 times in a year. The alien race that abducted me
5 times a year on
tall,
average.
about 15 foot tall, the human-like, with bald heads. But when I say human-like, the faces are a little bit like Nosferatu, but
The mummy.
teeth are not as fangy, but nevertheless, like human. There is a war going on around.
There's a war going on.
This planet also.
Listen to how serious he sounds.
It's a little bit like what goes on this planet with humans. My role as a super soldier, basically, is to do as I'm told, and that is to find the enemy and destroy it. When we're abducted, sometimes it could be for half an hour, or sometimes it could be hours, maybe 2, 3 or 4 hours. Now, because we're using what you would call teleportation and time travel, what that means is that we could actually have been taken and away from our surroundings for years and then brought back. So, people might not be able to get their head around this, and I'm sure
I can.
So-
disagree with them because it's hard for me as an abductee to understand it myself.
So if you've been taken away for years, what happens?
4 years versus 4 hours.
So, yeah. Example, you're gone for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So do I just believe that I haven't seen Kev for 4 years? Do I not see you for 4 years?
No, you wouldn't see me for 4 hours. I'd be gone for 4 years because time moves differently where he's going, remember?
So he should have.
Remember, he's getting alien weed on. That's keeping him fresh, keeping him super. He's aging slowly.
I don't understand how. This is going to sound so fucking bad. I don't understand if you're a soldier, like you are the best of the best, no matter what planet you're on.
Yeah.
Would you not be in incredible shape?
I was wondering if you were going to mention his keg.
That's, like I said, it's going to sound bad.
I mean,
But-
he is older but it doesn't matter. People come in all shapes and sizes, remember? He could kick your ass.
I can't. I suppose it's because I'm looking at soldiers like I know soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
So I know how incredibly fit and in shape they are, and fuck off am I doing any of the training that they have to do. And I'm someone that
Hard
loves
life.
being in the gym.
There's
But
a
I'm
very
not
big
doing
difference between
Being
like,
in the gym,
working out, yeah,
running what
and
they do.
doing
and-
basically marathons with huge
Yeah.
weight packs on you, and
F off am I doing any of that? Like,
yeah, same.
so I just can't see it.
Right. Well, in summary, we've met Russ Kellett, a
E.T. Rider.
E.T. rider. a gentleman who has had alien experiences since a very young age, but these experiences really took off when Russ turned 16. Russ was abducted and was basically glory holed. Russ drank from a pipe rammed down his throat, and then from pipes sticking out of the wall, along with completing alien military training programs in a military squad. The squad had members including UK singer Robbie Williams. This prepared Russ to go to war for the aliens. These aliens were like 15-foot tall, bald Draculas, except they didn't look anything like Dracula. And Russ was mainly fighting against the Dragos, basically reptilians. Russ would ultimately be abducted more than 60 times, coming across several alien species which we took a look at by examining some of Russ's artwork. Russ has released a book detailing his experiences. Russ has been challenged on why him, to which Russ explained that shape and size doesn't matter when you're a deadly space marine. Today, Russ is experiencing health complications from all his space-time travel. Whilst we haven't come across Russ before, we may see him again one day, as I've seen that he has thoroughly investigated a case known as the Welsh Roswell, which is on our list to one day probe. That's all we have today though, so is there anything you want to double over, Mr Moonwalker, before we conclude?
Well, he answered my question about size doesn't matter. So, I guess it kind of doesn't if you're in a spacesuit and you've got superpowers.
Yeah, that can turn into basically an exoskeleton. Yeah. He can operate space weaponry. This man is an extraterrestrial killing machine.
You are a super soldier, so I suppose what I said holds no bearing to this. I can't get over the book.
E.T. Rider. Do you want to go back to the start at the beginning?
I mean, I think we should.
Do you want to just conclude?
When did he start suffering from chronic fatigue?
I have no idea on that one, I'm afraid. I didn't read the end of the book.
I mean...
Sorry.
It's quite possible that he had a dream as a youngster and then created everything forwards from that dream.
It is?
Rather than having a series of dreams that kept going.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he had that one dream. I mean, do you remember anything from being 4 years old?
Being squeezed by one of my sisters, and possibly being at one of my aunt's weddings.
Okay, so it's possible to remember something at 4 years old. If Greybeard can do it, anyone can. Right, so it's possible he did remember seeing a spaceman.
I can also remember my first day at reception. I would have been 4, because I didn't move into, you don't move DO until you're 5, and I can remember some days at nursery when I probably would have been about 3.
I remember some days at nursery, but I don't know how old I was. I just don't pay attention.
Well, you would have been pre-4. There you go, sir. If I can do it, anyone can.
Exactly. The thing is, when you're that age, you can see someone in a suit. He could have seen a milkman and just thought it was a...
yeah. He could have.
An extraterrestrial.
I feel like there's another theory you're not hitting.
He could have seen a biker in a helmet.
An E.T. Rider.
Exactly. Could have seen himself in the future. But no. He saw a biker that had maybe... and then legged it before getting caught. And gave him a little wave.
Or this man could just be into niche interests and he's creating a bit of a counterculture with the alien stories and whatnot.
Just a bit of fiction. Some story writing.
Yeah, trying to make money maybe. Which, fair play. So, are you saying...
Maybe he's trying to leave his name in history.
As E.T. Rider.
Exactly. So down the years, people will be like, this guy was real. I mean, who knows, in 150 years' time, there may be a film, E.T. Rider.
Mm-hmm. And are you saying...
Doubtful, but possible.
...that it was E.T. Rider / aliens?
I'm saying that E.T. Rider
Is Russ Kellett.
is real within the confines of his book. Outside of that, this is not real. This isn't aliens.
Yeah. I won't beat around the bush. It is, without argument, absolutely real. I was honestly fearful of covering this one because I just thought you were going to say bullshit every section and not even entertain discussion. But that being said, it's been a fairly amusing one, and the military sucking on glory holes is a new one for us. Well, for me. I've seen your Google history, Granville.
I do know those in the military.
We share a Google account. Anything you want to add before we close? And I suppose I should probably just clarify there that I'm not saying that it was aliens.
Is E.T. Rider alive today? And is he still investigating
He
extraterrestrial?
certainly was alive late last year when I researched this.
Okay.
So he was alive in 2022. I haven't seen anything to suggest otherwise, but I've not checked in the last couple of months.
I mean, wasn't it said that he was a lead investigator, was it?
He's a leading UFO investigator. in the
Leading
UK,
UFO investigator. So
at his own assertion.
we should maybe hear from him at some point in other probes other than the Welsh Roswell.
Perhaps. I mean, if he's leading, he must be on a par with us, one would assume.
Indeed.
Because we're at the forefront of science and technology.
We're ahead.
You're
Only
ahead.
at the forefront. We're beyond.
You're at the forehead.
Five ahead.
That is a wrap for today. Thank you for listening to
Chicken Donna Rap.
But It Was Aliens. If you want to hear some more paranormal tales, and you just so happen to have enough money for a large cup of coffee or even a regular cup of coffee, well, if you head on over to a little place called patreon.com/butitwasaliens, you can sign up for our podcast Patreon. Each month, we release a bonus episode, otherwise known as a side probe into non-alien events, such as ghosts, demons, cryptids, and hypnotic dogs. Just like we do with the aliens on patreon.com, we discover whether these paranormal events are allegedly true. Outside of all of that, if you just want to get in touch, you can do that too. You can find us on the Twitter at
On the Twitter.
At But It Was Aliens. Twitter! Where we generally tweet important nonsense. We mentioned our Facebook group Extraterrestrial Towers at the start of this episode.
At the beginning of the start of this episode.
The beginning of the start. All are welcome there. That is it until next episode. So until next time, what would happen if Pinocchio said that his nose is about to grow? The truth is up there. #. You're thinking about that now, aren't you?
It's a grey. He never mentioned alien greys.
No, he may have mentioned them at some point in his account, but they weren't as detailed in what I read.